Hey there, MJ traders and investors. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, news, and interviews. Also home to the absolute best MJ community on the planet. Today's Saturday, December 9th. Hope you're having an awesome weekend. And in this video, we're going to do another edition of rapid fire news updates for the period December 2nd to December 8th. And again, if you're not familiar with this new format, essentially it's not to go into deep dive details, but just basically give a high level overview of all of the pertinent and important articles that transpired in the news over the last week or so. And I'll try to keep them around 10 to 15 minutes in length. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this new format. Also, before we jump to the news for the week, make sure to smash the like. It helps support me in the channel. It does not cost you anything. You can tick the bell, subscribe, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. You can also give us a follow over on X, which is formerly Twitter. And we also just signed up for Odyssey and Rumble. Jumping into the news, MJ Moment reports that new bipartisan Wisconsin bill would decriminalize MJ possession. And this comes after a ton of movement on state laws. We've seen a ton of reform and movement on at the federal level as well. We're seeing tons of bills coming through right now, going through Congress about, which we'll mention a little bit later on in the video, but essentially about decriminalizing and legalizing at the federal level. And then also lots of talk about rescheduling safer banking, uplisting to the NYSE and the NASDAQ potentially as well. So we're seeing a lot of movement. We're seeing a lot of bills, a lot of chatter. And while we're not seeing a whole lot happening right now, this is great because one thing that we can take from this is that MJ is definitely at the spotlight, which is something that it has been lacking in Congress for several years now, right? So this is good. Talks are heating up, and the fact that it just keeps coming up time after time after time is great for the industry and a sign of the times and what's to come. MJ Moment also said that Ohio Senate Committee advances bill to eliminate MJ home grow, reduce possession limits, and raise taxes days before legalization takes effect, which we know Ohio is the 24th state to legalize at the adult use level, and that is Republican led. That's a Republican state as well. So if it can happen in Ohio, it can happen pretty much anywhere in the United States and abroad, which we've got some news here with regards to Germany delays their final vote on MJ legalization bill until next year. So I've been saying for a while now that I think that, the first quarter, second quarter of 2024 is where we're going to really start to see MJ stocks heat up. And then into the end of 2024, I think we're going to see massive, massive upside with so many catalysts on the horizon. We've got MJ Act for review here in Canada. They're looking to increase they're looking to increase the limits of edibles from 10 to 100 milligrams. We've got potential excise taxes that are going to improve. We've got legalization in Florida, potentially on the ballot for 2024. We've got Ohio, Pennsylvania. We've got Minnesota. We've got Germany coming online potentially in 2024. We've got New York, which we got some news to that here regarding New York here in just a moment. And then, safer banking, uplisting the NYSE and the NASDAQ, rescheduling. Oh man, there's so many things happening right now at the state and federal level. Just in the US, it's not even funny, but like I said, game theory playing out. We're starting to see, Germany. We've got some news with regards to Thailand here in a moment. And then also the UK, their medical MJ clinical trial is underway. So again, we're starting, it's just a matter of time before, Germany, the biggest country in the EU, and then the rest of the UK. And then generally what we know about the US is they're never first, but they're never last. So usually we start to see, like the UK, EU, UK, Canada, and then the US, right? So I think we're very close, but likely going to be a couple years out before we see, full-blown legalization in the U.S. Lots doubt it will ever happen. They'll leave it up to the states, which could happen as well. And again, we've got some news with regards to that in just a moment. Also, recreational pot surges in Rhode Island's first year of legal sales. Legal MJ sales kicked off a year ago in Rhode Island, 12 months on business. And 12 months on, the business is booming. And this is just going to be a trend that we continue to see, right? It's going to create tons of tax revenue, tons of jobs, and it's just giving the people what they want, right? 70 to 80% of the people in the US want this legalized either for medical purposes or full-blown rec. Also, study finds, and this is something that we've continued to see and we will continue to see, is more and more studies, more and more research, right? Ever since Biden signed the research bill, we're going to continue to see more of this, and it really just goes to show how nascent the industry is, and how early we are. But the study finds that no evidence that medical MJ causes cognitive impairment in patients with chronic health problems. So this is great to see. Also, there were some studies done, I can't remember if I posted in my last weekly news video, but essentially helps with with sleep a lot. There's basically tons of research and studies being done right now that not early in the day, but late at night, if you consume MJ, it basically helps improve your sleep quality drastically. And I, as a user, I pretty much only use it in the nighttime now, usually probably once a day, 2 max. But I'm usually down to around 1 time a day, and I usually do it a couple of hours before bed. And I got to admit that I have some of the best sleep I've ever had. And not just smoking, though. If you take like a couple of drinks, like the Cannabis, if you get a couple of the MJ drinks or some of the edibles, I like the Shred'ems, and I really like the XMG and the Molos for the beverages. If I do a couple beverages and a couple edibles, like I said, I sleep like an absolute baby, and some of the best sleep that I've ever had in my life. So let me know your thoughts and your experience in the comment section below. Also, MJ Moment reports that 6 governors push Biden to ensure MJ is rescheduled by the end of this year. Well, that's wishful thinking, and with it being, the holidays here in a few weeks, we have just over 3 weeks left in the month and in the year, so I can't see this happening. I'd gladly be wrong on this, but like I said, I think the most likely scenario is we get rescheduling at some point in 2024, right? More than likely the back half, but there's a possibility that we get a response from the DEA on HHS's recommendation to Schedule 3 at some point over the next 3 to 6 months, call it the first or second quarter of 2024. But we'll see what can happen at the executive branch as well. But this is great to see. Again, the fact that we might not really anticipate anything come of this, the fact that we continue to get pressure and bills introduced and chatter being taken. If there's this kind of action being taken, if there's chatter, if there's bills, if there's letters being sent to the administration, this is all what we want to see, right? It will slowly but surely get us over the finish line. And like I said, I think I posted on X, formerly Twitter, that while we might not see much develop from some of these bills, like the legalization bill that I'm going to mention in here in a moment, the fact that it continues to be brought up is what we're after, right? And one of these days, we will win. And like I said, we only get this opportunity once. This amazing industry, this medicine of the future, this plant will only be legalized at the federal level once across the globe. And like I said, we're here for it. Many are going to be envious of us in the future. And like I said, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Do not F this up. This could be your opportunity to make generational wealth for yourself and your families. But not financial advice. This is for entertainment and information purposes only. You should never ever buy anything based on anything I say or anything that I write. Also, MSO Curaleaf exits Vermont with sales of assets to Zenbarm Farms. And I mentioned that I think I mentioned this in last week's video as well, but they also entered Florida as well with a second facility. Or a second dispensary, so that's great to see. We know Florida is potentially on the ballot for 2024, and then for adult use sales, and then potentially commencing in late 2024 or 2025. We'll see how it goes. Might even be 2026, but I'm hopeful that we can get it done on the ballot for 2024 and then into 2026. And like I said, I think it's smart that Curaleaf's focusing on that. And then there's some news with regards to New York and Curaleaf here in a moment as well. Also, Tilray subsidiary Montauk Brewing expands distribution across the Southeast and launches in Florida. If you've tried Montauk, let me know in the comment section below. I haven't tried them. Really, craft beer is like my second favorite thing in the world. My first favorite thing is MJ. And then second favorite thing is craft beer. So I really like the MJ beverages as well, like the Molos. They even have some craft beer options with the MJ drinks, which is really, really cool. I did some product reviews on those. You can check it out. But really excited to try these Montauk ones. Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Tilray Brands also unveils Canadian MJ lineup for the holidays. So there's a bunch of stuff in here that you can check out. New drinks, Mola Lime and the Orchard, the apple cider. But you can check that out for more details. Again, this isn't to go into deep dive details. It's just to kind of give you a high-level overview, and you can check it out. Also, MJ producer Bazam acquiring Final Bell Canada. So Canadian MJ producer Bazam entered into a definitive agreement to acquire Final Bell Canada from Final Bell Holdings International in an all-stock transaction. The companies announced Wednesday. The combination will put some of the most popular MJ brands in Canada under one roof, including Cookies, Sherbinski's, and Wild. Final Bell Holdings International, which is a sole owner of Final Bell Canada, will receive 90 million common shares of Bazam at a deemed price of 15 Canadian cents per share after the transaction closes. That represents approximately 1/3 of the issued outstanding shares of BZAM. The deal is expected to close around December 18, 2023, and I think it said that it put them in 5th position as the 5th largest in licensed producer in Canada. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure that's what I saw from one of the other articles. Also, MJ Moment reports that local Texas lawmakers officially place MJ decriminalization initiative on Lubbock's May 2024 ballot. So again, more and more states, game theory just continues to play out. Minnesota, also some news with regards to Minnesota. MJ regulators seek more public input as they craft industry rules and process responses to initial survey. We also had Japan amends MJ law, allowing for medicinal products, but criminalizing rec use. The previous law prohibited administering or taking MJ-derived medicines. And Japan, one of some of the most strictest, leadership and one of the most strict, really regions against MJ. So again, if it can happen in Ohio, if it can happen in Japan, it's just slowly but surely we're getting in there. Lack of product variety blunts Connecticut's adult use MJ sales. So Connecticut's adult use MJ market has hit some potholes less than a year after launch, with overall sales in recreational and medical MJ dipping in October, an uncommon development for a new market. But that'll all change here as we start to see, interstate commerce and all these positive catalysts on the horizon, which again we'll touch on in just a moment. But lots of news abroad. Australia exported 1,510 kilograms of MJ in 2022. Rare data shows. Also, Ohio lawmakers propose retail cap, higher taxes in MJ law changes. So this is, like I said, one of the latest to legalize adult use, and we're just days away at this point. And this was voter approved. And again, just goes to show you that, slowly but surely, each and every year, a few more states follow, either, from a medical standpoint or recreational standpoint. And it's just going to be a matter of time before, there'll be no, you won't be able to ignore it anymore, right? It's going to be legal pretty much in every state in some, in some fashion. So, like I said, this is exciting times. MJ MSO Cureleaf also closes in on Toronto Stock Exchange listing. They also announced reorganization of its U.S. operation in connection with this Toronto Stock Exchange listing. So this is great. They're following TerraSend. They were the first to uplist to the Toronto Stock Exchange from the Canadian Securities Exchange, and then the next milestone and target will be the NASDAQ, or potentially the New York Stock Exchange, right? So U.S. major exchanges coming soon. I would say over the next 1 to 2 years. Should be able to get it done, I think, over that time frame. Also, I did a video on this, so I won't go into deep dive details, but Cannara Biotech also reported fourth quarter and full fiscal 2023 year-end results. They had a record growth and profitability continues. So again, got to check this out. 10th quarter of consecutive positive adjusted EBITDA. So I did a whole video dedicated to this. Very bullish on this name long term. You can check them out as well. Also, October MJ sales dip. So MJ sales decreased 0.7% sequentially in October after decreasing a small amount in September, according to data analytics firm BDSA. They talk about Western markets, Eastern markets, but where was the figure here? So in total, BDSA estimates that sales across the 11 markets totaled $1.78 billion during the month. That's just in a month. Wow, crazy. Again, just imagine where we're going to be 5, 10 plus years from now. Also, Republican congressman files new bill to end MJ prohibition in legal states and allows interstate commerce and lifts 280E tax blockade. Basically, everything we could ever want in MJ, all in one title. This is huge, right? So I did a video on this just yesterday. I highly encourage you to check this out, but I'm very impressed with this bill. Like I said, while I'm not expecting much to be, to come from it, I don't think it's going to pass, but the fact that it just keeps coming up and, they keep trying to make amendments and provisions and different, alterations to it to support both, GOP and the Dems and both sides of the aisle, right? And if you haven't seen that video, it's pretty long. This one's getting pretty long as well, so I want to try to separate as best I can, but I give my thoughts and opinions and I go into the details as well. And then I go into the details of this. MSOs get the okay to enter New York adult use market December 29th. And some of the beneficiaries there are Columbia Care, so now the Cannabis Co., Cureleaf. We've got Etain Health, which is part of RIV Capital. We've got NY Canna, which is part of MSO Acreage Holdings. We got Pharmacan and Valia Agriceuticals, which is part of Cresco Labs. So this is absolutely massive news, and we're expecting, I think it was in the coming weeks, December 29th, and then there's a couple other highlights here. Only 110 million in sales this year, 1 year after New York's goes live, which is well below the $1 billion or the $1 billion projections. And then the OCM on Friday said only 31 adult use stores are open statewide, so that should increase as well. And then finally, MSO, multi-state operator MedMen tops White Star Solutions again in a fraud case. So Arizona's Court of Appeals ruled in favor of MedMen Enterprises in a breach of contract lawsuit. The MJ multi-state operator's second victory over White Star Solutions. And this is a company that I hold in my portfolio. Not a very large position, less than 5% of my entire MJ portfolio holdings, but one of my YOLO positions where, the money I'm putting in, it's not a whole lot of money that I'm prepared to lose. Not that I think I'm going to, but could be massive upside if this company were to turn it around and stand the test of time. The reward versus the risk there is massive. But going to end it there. Let me know what you think of this news in the comment section below. Always love hearing from you. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth, and I hope you have a fantastic rest of your weekend. See you on the next video.